sir.
Allow me to say, how about those Warriors?
The 5 Cavs fans we have here. I'm Carrie Champion. That's Skip Bayless, and that's Stephen A. Smith, and this is First Take. We're happy to have you. On the show today, we got a lot of guests, so you guys are in for a special treat. You remember Jared Jack, don't you? Y'all remember Jared Jack?
They do.
He will be here, as well as NBA veteran Dante Jones. We'll also have Wizards guard Bradley Beal. So you guys excited about that? And then you also have Skip Bayless. You guys, you're happy Skip Bayless is here. And Stephen A. Smith. Yeah. All right, well, let's get right to it. Game 1 in the books. Congratulations, Warriors. You guys did it. You won. LeBron James, obviously, and the Cavs couldn't get it done in overtime. In fact, they missed 12 of their final 13 shots. Last night, we asked LeBron about the loss, and this is what he had to say.
We gave ourselves a chance, man, and you know, I missed a tough one, but we had so many opportunities, you know, to win this game. We didn't. We all have to be better, including myself. I don't think I was great. You know, I got to do better things out on the floor to help us be more precise offensively. I got to communicate a little bit more defensively to help our team get over the hump. It's not about me. It's not about, you know, the next guy. It's about all of us, and you know, we have to. You know, we're going to watch the film and get better for Game 2.
Yeah, and despite LeBron's finals career high of 44 points, he, again, has now lost 5 game ones. Let's talk about his responsibilities. Skip Bayless, you first. How much of the loss is on LeBron?
Stephen A. Smith, first of all, allow me to say I have zero problem that LeBron James took 38 shots last night. I have zero problem that he had the second highest usage rate of his entire playoff career, and zero problem with the fact that obviously he didn't get his teammates as involved as he often does with only 6 assists last night. All I know for sure is that LeBron James scored 44 points and put his team in position to have a last shot to win a Game 1 of the NBA Finals in an arena that these folks know all too well, Oracle, in which its team this year has been 46-3 at home. LeBron James had that last shot to win that basketball game. My problem was with his shot selection on that last shot. It reared its ugly head again. This has been my 10-year criticism, my exhortation of LeBron James. Why would you revert? Why would you resort to a step shot when nobody, as we saw again and again and again last night, can stop you from getting to the basket? He was 9 out of 13 shots in the lane last night. So, with the side cleared, the clock ticking down, why would you dribble sideways on Andre Iguodala and take that jump shot when you could have driven right by him, you could have attacked the basket, which is what you do best, and obviously Draymond Green would have come over and challenged you at the rim? I'm pretty sure they would have called that foul. I'm pretty sure that LeBron James could have stepped to the free throw line with no time left on the clock and had 2 free throws, not just 1, 2 free throws to win the basketball game, to win Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Now, we know he's been shaky from the free throw line in late game situations, which is why I've questioned his clutch gene in the past. But still, don't you think he could have made 1 out of 2 free throws to win the basketball game? I do. I would have trusted LeBron to make 1 free throw. If he makes that free throw, we're having a whole different conversation right now. Everything changes. Kyrie Irving is still healthy because the game would have been over in regulation, obviously. So it fell on the shoulders of the best player on the planet, which I agree with you on, to drive the basketball, attack the rim, get to the free throw line, and close the deal. And he failed miserably once again to do that.
I don't disagree with what you said. You're absolutely right with what you're saying about him on that last play. It was the worst type of shot selection he should have selected. There's no way on earth, game tied, you don't go to the hole. You don't get fouled. You don't put yourself at the free throw line in order to win this game. And to be quite honest with you, it resonates even more profoundly because if you do that, then the game never goes to overtime. Kyrie Irving never gets hurt, and ultimately you walk away with Game 1 and Kyrie still healthy for Game 2. So there's a lot that LeBron has to live with in selecting them take that last shot. What I'm going to say to you, however, is that your criticism, while accurate, is incomplete. Because to me, I had a problem with LeBron James and those 38 shots.
Okay.
And here's why I had a problem with it. J.R. Smith comes off the bench and drops 2 jump shots. And then after that, I'm talking about 30 to 45 minutes before this man took another shot. In terms of real time. I'm not talking about game time. I'm talking about in terms of real time.
I'm with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Skip Bayless, Kerry, I am a native New Yorker. I have been covering J.R. Smith for years. Having him go that long without a shot is tantamount to taking a human being and putting them in the freezer. Once you get them out, you've got to throw them out before they can do everything. You cannot do that with a JR. He's not that kind of player. This dude is incredibly streaky. He has shown you he does not fear the moment nor the bright lights. And on top of it all, last time you let loose with them, the dude dropped all 28 of their points off the bench in game 1 versus Atlanta. This is what he does. This is what he brings to the table. So when he comes off the bench, he's one of those guys you can almost instantly know, all right, this could be his night. He hit those first 2 shots. You feed the boy, especially if you're LeBron. Especially if you're LeBron. Do you know why? Because LeBron can make the adjustment. LeBron is this is the dude who's accustomed to sitting there and getting other people involved and then turning on the afterburners in the second, third, and fourth quarters. He usually spends the first quarter getting people involved, feeling out who's doing what, who he can rely on as the game progresses. So for him to be in game 1 of the NBA Finals, going up against a team like Golden State, who is clearly the best in the NBA and clearly the deepest, knowing the bevy of bodies they're going to throw at you, to me, that's where this game was in trouble. If you remember, they were up by about 13. You got about 2 minutes left in the first quarter. You've got your foot on Golden State's proverbial throat, but we know when they swing haymakers. They're coming at you. So what do? You don't sit there and play around and take 2 ill-advised shots and turn the ball over.
LeBron, you're talking
That's
about.
right. You dictate the pace, all right? You keep everybody calm. You're methodical in your approach, and you keep your foot on your throat. They took their foot off the gas, and Golden State, before you know it, not only had come back, not only had tied the game, but actually took the lead. And when you send that kind of message to Steph Curry and this crew, you have given them too much light. So the way I look at it, again, LeBron James was sensational with what he did right, but there were things that he did wrong, and it wasn't just that last shot. It's that he went against the LeBron we know. You cannot have a guy like JR knowing that Kyrie is not 100%, and he comes off the bench firing, hits 2 straight shots, and then you don't see him for the next 45 minutes?
Yeah, to your point. Second half, J.R. Smith made 0 for 3 shots. He took 3 shots and missed all 3. And then when you needed him most, when you're going in the deep freeze in overtime, your team is, he's 0 for 3 because he had cooled completely off. I am with you on that. Now, to the Golden State fans here, to me, you just won game 1 without your A game. I did not think Golden State played great last night.
That's fair.
Seriously. And the star of the game to me was a guy we've often had on this show, Andre Iguodala.
Yes, he has.
He once nicknamed me the diabolical hater on this show, and I loved it. I embraced the nickname. But the way he defended LeBron down the stretch, not with muscle, not even with hustle, just with smarts and savvy and angles, he made LeBron work, and he got to the spot before LeBron got to the spot, and I love the way he defended. Played 32 big minutes and scored 15 big points, made 6 out of 8 shots, and all of them seem like big shots to me. But when I look at the overtime, remember, Golden State in overtime, they only made 1 basket too. Both teams made 1 basket in overtime. But guess who got to the free throw line? Your Golden State Warriors got to the free throw line. They made 7 out of 8. So LeBron didn't get to the free throw line when he had his chance. They got to the free throw line, and they walked away with overtime.
Well, they got to the free throw line, and that obviously they deserve a lot of credit for that. And Steph Curry's going to get to the free throw line. He's going to hit his free throws. We got Klay Thompson. He's going to hit his free throws. Draymond Green, he's going to hit his free throws. When you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, I thought they made a mistake by not getting Mozgov more. But now, don't get me wrong, that up and under layup by him, I wanted to slap him myself. I couldn't believe that he was taking such a stupid shot. But I believe in Mozgov, and I think the fact that he made those 2 big free throws near the end of regulation, it just shows that you could put the ball in his hands, and you know what? He might do some good things for you. So again, if you're LeBron, whether you make or miss some of these shots, you want to post up. You want to play with your back to the basket, because if nothing else, what it does is it helps dictate pace, which throws Golden State off. And they defended Steph Curry by committee. Everywhere he went, there was somebody there. It was one time he was on the wing and Mozgov was on him, because you have to switch. What I'm trying to say to you is that what Golden State showed you, here's where their vulnerability lies. It doesn't matter how everybody else plays. If you can prevent an explosion from Steph Curry, then ultimately you're going to be in the game, because it's a challenge for them from a rhythm perspective to flourish. They're going to excel no matter what, because they're too gifted. But to really flourish, it's a challenge for them to do it when Steph Curry is not exploding. Kyrie Irving stuck Steph Curry straight up for about 6 possessions. By the way, Steph Curry wasn't on him, but Kyrie was on him. 6 possessions. Kyrie held him to 1 of 5 shooting and just 4 points. Steph Curry did his damage against everybody else. And Iguodala on LeBron. 2 of 12 was LeBron against Iguodala straight up. Not with help. 2 of 12. When he went up against Iguodala, he was 2 of 12. When you see something like that, what do you have to do? You've got to post Iguodala up. You've got to attack him with your back to the basket, because you don't want that brother sticking you. I covered Iguodala when he was in Philadelphia. This brother's long. He's athletic. He got a lot of heart. He ain't scared of anybody. All right? And the challenge of LeBron, he embraces that kind of stuff, just like Draymond Green is. You got to think about these things, and you got to know better, and you got to know what you're going to need in order to beat these guys. LeBron was exceptional for the most part, but he made that error in the first quarter by not feeding JR, and in the end, that last shot in regulation is going to haunt him for years to come if they lose these finals.
Last quick point. How close did you think the Shumpert fling came to going in? Because that would have been like a Ray Allen shot.
I was standing. Shumpert was right there in the right corner, and I literally was walking from there to the tunnel, so I stopped right there. I was literally about 3 feet from him. I looked at it. I thought it was going in, and obviously it would have been very helpful, because, again, you wouldn't have had overtime, and Kyrie would have been healthy.
I didn't think it was as close as some people said,
close,
but it hit on the front of the rim. It didn't lip out.
But I'm just saying,
but it was online, man.
But it came down and it hit almost the back end of the front end, if you with me. So in other words, it didn't bounce back, it bounced in.
You know, it bounced forward.
It bounced forward.
We both mentioned Kyrie, 23 points in the loss before he left in overtime. There's a little over 2 minutes left. He's getting an MRI today. We don't necessarily know the status of his knee injury. Again, an MRI later on today. We don't know if he's going to be playing, but consider his injury and what that could cause. Welcome back to Oakland, everyone. We're at the Lake Chalet restaurant along Lake Merritt. Really beautiful. The crowd inside here early for us, because we are on the West Coast. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for showing up as usual. I guess. All right, so listen, after the Game 1 loss, our Brian Windhorst reported that there has been some growing tension between the Cavs camp and Kyrie Irving's camp. Specifically, Kyrie Irving's dad as well as his agent are suggesting that they limit his minutes because they're concerned about his what seems to be a minor knee injury, which could result into more. So last night, obviously, he hurt himself. You see him limping off the court there. He talked about the injury. Let's listen.
Just in a little bit of pain. Obviously, the play that happened, I tried to decelerate, trying to go by Klay, and I don't know what I felt, but obviously didn't feel right, and it was a little bit different than what I had been experiencing you know, in the Chicago series, anything like that, because it was just a quick pinch, and I could still feel what was going on in my knee. And this time, I kind of knew, like, it was just a little bit different than the other times.
How do you feel about your chances of playing in game 2?
I'm not sure at this point, Rachel. I'm gonna just take it one day at a time, like I've been doing, and go from there.
All right, so Kyrie Irving saying it didn't feel right. The Cavs have said it was a bad case of tendinitis. Again, an MRI later on today. Skip Bayless, I'll give this to you first. Do you believe that Kyrie played too many minutes?
I do not. I disagree with the position that you just expressed in our previous topic, that you thought it was way too many minutes. 43 minutes and 37 seconds that David Blatt played Kyrie Irving last night in his return after, what did they have, 9 days off to recover. I got to tell you, because I picked Golden State, I was rooting like crazy for Steph and company to win this game, even though I feared LeBron and company would win game 1. And in the first quarter, I'm watching Kyrie Irving, and I'm thinking, he is all the way back. That looked like seriously Kyrie Irving. Even though you did say he's got the nastiest handle in the game, I still think Steph's is a little better, but that's just me. But still, I was seeing flash after flash of 100% Kyrie Irving. And I'm looking at this stat line, 10 out of 22 shots, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals. And I'm thinking, that was pretty great. And who made the defensive play of the game with 26 seconds to go? It happened to be Kyrie Irving, who obviously he let Steph loose on the wing, let him get by. Steph decided he could get away with shooting a layup off the glass. I thought he should have gone harder to the hole and even tried to dunk it. But here came Kyrie from behind and did a little mini chase down block, as you know, of that layup. That was the play of the game until LeBron missed the last shot. So to me, it's easy 20-20 high, way too many minutes. I think that's an unfair second guess of David Blatt, because what happened to Kyrie in overtime with 2 minutes and 22 seconds left was a little freakish to me. It's just one of those, he lost his balance. Klay was up into him a little bit. No offense to Klay, no disrespect. It wasn't a dirty play. He just lost his balance a little bit. He tweaked that knee. Now, I hope I'm right that it's not as bad as it looked. His surgeon took a look last night. It's just a hands-on look, and said he did not think it was any ACL or any sort of ligament damage. So let's hope that's correct. But he did take a trip, as you know, recently to see the great Dr. Andrews, who signed completely off on him playing. So this was different. He said it felt different because, remember, he hyperextended the knee when he first hurt it against Atlanta. This was just a tweak where he fell forward on it. I'm sure it hurt. I'm hoping he can play through it. But I have absolutely no problem with David Blatt playing him as long as he did.
Well, first of all, your credibility comes into question because you said you were rooting like heck for Golden State to win. So, of course, you'd say that. That's number one. Number two, and more importantly, you need to make up your mind because you just finished raving about Matthew Dellavedova. Well, if you believe in the subs, then why push Kyrie?
Okay.
Because again, 43 minutes is 43 minutes on a guy that during the Eastern Conference Finals decided to get on a private jet with a physician and his agent Jeff Wexler to go and see Dr. Andrews because that's how concerned they were. Not to mention, I came to you and I told you, and I came on this show and I reported how there was some friction within the ranks within Cleveland because the players themselves, along with some members of the Cleveland Cavaliers staff, were of the mindset like, look, man, all hands are deck. We chasing the title.
Play.
This is the conference championship. You got to play.
All right.
But Papa Irving, his daddy, along with his agent and others are like, wait a minute here. We got to think long term. And by the way, you should be thinking that way as well, Cleveland Cavaliers, because y'all did pay this dude $90 million. Okay, so he's in the midst of it. So you got to protect your investment just like we have to protect this investment. So all of those things taken into consideration. You don't look at the way a guy is going, Skip, at this juncture when you just went to the hospital, when you just went to the doctor, when you missed 2 games within the Eastern Conference. You don't look at how he's going to say, hey, man, he's rolling. I'm going to play him 43 minutes. You don't do it like that because, again, you have to think about more than just game 1. So I get your point because you're thinking he looks sensational. He's balling. Right now he looks fantastic, blah, blah, blah.
Well, Skip, that's because he had 9 days rest. But he ain't going to have 9 days rest before game 2. He ain't going to have 9 days rest before game 3 or 4. And right now, we can't even assume there's going to be something beyond game 4. So all of this stuff is what I'm saying to you. You have to take those things into consideration because his health has been questionable, highly questionable for weeks, to the point that you got to remember when he went to see Dr. Andrews, that was against the wishes of the Cleveland Cavaliers. They didn't want him to go. They're like, what's the problem? It wasn't like they sent him. They weren't happy about it. So he went against their wishes and did it anyway, which tells you how concerned he was about his own knee.
Okay, but you're making my case on 2 levels. First, you told me a few minutes ago, Dellavedova, liability, disastrous last night. So if Blatt's seeing that, right? That's what you told me.
Wait, that's what I told you, but we didn't know that was going to be the case coming into the game.
Okay, but if Blatt saw that in the first quarter, second quarter, whenever he first got on the floor and tried to bring the ball up, then why wouldn't he stick with Kyrie?
No, I totally understand what you're saying because it's totally plausible. We understand why Blatt did it.
Okay.
That doesn't mean he should have.
Okay, and if Blatt is hearing in the locker room whispers of, the guy's got to go, he's just got to play, why wouldn't Blatt say, I'm going to keep this man in the game because we need this man in the game? This is the finals.
Because when you're the head coach, you're the one who's supposed to be making that call. You might lean on some counsel and advice. You want to hear what other people have to say. But there's a reason the head coach is on the podium after the game and the assistant coaches are sitting there behind in the locker room or walking through the tunnel to the team bus, because they ain't the one that make that call. They don't get paid to make that call. I don't give a damn what kind of advice he got.
Okay.
You're watching this guy and you see what Kyrie Irving is capable of doing, but you also know what he's been through health-wise. You have to manage a potential 7-game series.
But even LeBron James himself said after the game last night, we all got to go now. We're all hurt. We're all banged up. We all got to go.
First of all,
so why wouldn't David Blatt have the same philosophy, the same approach?
Because David Blatt is the coach. Of course, LeBron is going to say that. He's the one out there playing 45-plus minutes, putting his body and his life on the line, trying to win a championship. The whole mentality is, hell, I'm sore, I'm aching, I'm hurt.
That's
I'm
right.
out here. Any player's going to do that. But there is a reason, for example, why Greg Popovich won the title last year and not one single player averaged more than 30 minutes. You know why? Because regardless of what they wanted, Popovich said, this is how we're going to do it. I'm the boss. This is what I say. That's it.
Okay, but Kyrie Irving isn't 38 years old, right?
No.
Okay, that's what we're talking about.
I said, no. Don't be slick and change the narrative.
No, I didn't. You changed it.
I didn't change it. I said everybody. I said Popovich.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. When you interrupt me, you take away time. Zip it. The point that I'm trying to make to you is this. Kyrie, when I brought up Popovich, he didn't play Tim Duncan less than 30 minutes. He played everybody 30 minutes or less, including Kawhi Leonard, who was 23 at the time. So all I'm saying to you is that in the end, you're the head coach. You have to be able to make the call. I didn't even tell you this. I didn't even bring this up last night. Do you know that last night during the game, LeBron had missed a shot near the end of regulation before overtime? And then after that, Moskov tapped it out. They got the offensive rebound.
Yeah.
Remember they called the timeout?
Yeah.
That wasn't Blatt. LeBron said timeout.
Okay.
And Blatt went like this. Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, what have I said all year? LeBron James is the coach of this team.
And I'm saying to you, at some point in time, regardless of the fact that I understand that from a play standpoint, you can't allow a player to make those kind of calls about another player as it pertains to their health, because the players are always going to say you got to play through it.
Last question. Do you think LeBron James had a problem with Kyrie Irving playing 43 minutes last night?
No. But let me ask you, does that make him right?
No.
Yes.
No.
It does not. No, it does not.
No, it doesn't.
It's his team.
It's not his body.
That's a fair point. All right. So listen. So did Kyrie Irving play too many minutes? Stephen A. says yes. Skip Bayless says no.
No.
At the pick'em board is a former Golden State Warrior, current net guard. We got our guy Jared Jack, who wins the finals, my friend.